Peace, love, and light. What it do? It is your girl, Chloe B, and I am here with another weekly spread for the week of the 2nd through the 9th. And this week, we are busting out our New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. So, this is one of my faves. It's kind of confusing at times, but it's such a beautiful deck. It's such a deep deck. Like, the lady who made this did such a great job connecting the elements of New Orleans voodoo, but voodoo in general and hoodoo with tarot. Like, she did a masterful job at connecting all the themes with different elements within the culture. So I absolutely love this deck, but it's a little hard to read, so sometimes I'll be busting out my book on this one because this one is a little deeper. But we got this deck all saged and cleared. Let's see what we got. Oh, okay. First card is La Rada Gide. And Rada Gide is kind of like the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot equivalent of the Three of Swords. And anybody who understands tarot, like Rider-Waite Tarot, understands that the Three of Swords is that card everybody knows with the heart and the three swords in it. And it can kind of represent heartbreak, but I think it also represents understanding that these emotional moments where we kind of have these, like, what it seems like heartbreak or moments that wrench at our hearts are also awesome opportunities to celebrate. Celebrate the energies that were, and celebrate the openness that sometimes letting old things die off creates. So this card is all about that Three of Cups, or Three of Swords energy. And we got Papa Legba right there. He looks really cool in this deck. Like, I absolutely love this. He looks young. He's got some sunglasses on, his purple suit on. He's sitting next to the grave, but he's got his libations. He's got all his offerings to the ancestors who are beneath him. So it's kind of an understanding that you're celebrating, even though you're, like, representing or thinking about something that might be sad or something that might, like, be heavy emotionally. This is a time to celebrate. And so I think it relates to this moment because it reminds us to celebrate right now. Celebrate the moment that is. We are in December. It's the holiday season. There's a lot to feel grateful for. There's a lot to kind of think on and harp on that happened throughout the year, but ultimately there's so much blessing that we are still here in this moment. So we have a lot of reasons to be grateful, even though there was a lot of hardship and hard elements along the way, where we made it through to the at least December. So we are grateful for that. So this card is all about celebrating despite hard times, or thinking about the fact that there might be some things that you might need to reflect on. That's the biggest thing. Take from this one: reflection. Reflect on all the things, the trials, the tribulations, the blessings, all the lessons that got you into this moment right now. Okay, because our second card is Simbi DeLo. And Simbi DeLo is all about, Simbi DeLo is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot version of the, what is that? The Eight of Cups. Because Congo is kind of like water, and it represents that, like, cups, emotional energy. And eights is, eights represents just kind of lessons, spiritual lessons, but leadership and spiritual lessons, a lot of business spiritual lessons. So what I see in this card is, she's kind of taking out these youngins out to pasture. She's kind of taught them, she's reared them up thus far, and she's bringing them out to release them, so to speak. And if you know of the Rider-Waite Tarot, you understand that the Eight of Cups is like this guy walking away from 8 cups, and it's like, looks like he's on a cliff or something, but it's kind of represents sacrifice. It represents a new turning of a new leaf. It represents, new energies coming out. It represents spiritual lessons and spiritual epiphanies, but it also represents the changing of direction. It represents stepping into power, so to speak. So to me, it seems like celebrate, because you're about to elevate, like you're about to level up. And I think that we are represented in these little snakes as opposed to us being represented as this big snake, because it kind of represents that we are coming into pasture. We've kind of grown into ourselves, and we're coming into a new level up. So I appreciate that. This card is about reflection and celebration a little bit. This card is all about understanding that there's going to be some spiritual lessons, maybe some spiritual tests, and you are being freshly put into that. And you are obviously being told that you are of a leadership element. You will eventually ascend into this, but you're almost there. You're like coming into a new level. So definitely this week is telling us that we're leveling up. So that's kind of cool. Leveling up and to celebrate that. Okay, because we got the Rara Hansis, and Hansis is all about initiates. So the Hansis Rara is kind of like the king of initiates. It's kind of like Rara represents air, so it kind of represents the swords element. And we can see her, she's probably the Hansi rather. She's like the initiate, but she's a master. Like, she obviously has all these pots she represents, and these pots kind of represent vessels for sacrifice, and vessels for not sacrifice, but offerings. That's the word I'm looking for. Offerings for the ancestors. So she's like the lady that's in charge of all the offerings. She's obviously like a master initiate, if not a leader or a teacher, and she's in charge of a lot of things. So this is saying that you're like the king of swords, so to speak. So when you're the king of swords, you're decisive, you're confident, you're very, very poised because you're very seated in your power. You understand what to do in a lot of situations because you are very powerful and assertive, and you are a leader. So I think this is telling us that we need to celebrate. Maybe you're going to be leveling up, like a promotion, or maybe you're going to be leveling up in your relationship. Maybe you're going to get proposed to. Maybe you're going to just step into a new way of thinking that is more confident and empowering for yourself. But this is telling you that it's a new consciousness, but it's a consciousness that you've been cultivating, so to speak. Like, so it's time to put it out to pasture and work on the things that you've been putting out there. Especially as we're in December, I think that this spread is interesting because it kind of speaks to celebrating the lessons that you've learned in this year, but knowing that you are recently becoming into a new level. But it's a level of you being empowered. Like, you're doing your own thing now. You've learned all the lessons you were training. Now you're off into the real world, and you are obviously more masterful than you think, because you are obviously so you're like you're an initiate. So but you are a powerful initiate. You're a magical initiate. You are somebody who has a lot of knowledge and has a lot of experience in whatever it is you're coming into. So maybe you're beginning, but you're good at you're good. You got this. You are well trained. You are well prepared. The universe got your back, so to speak. So this is all about just understanding that you have a lot of power within you. So step into your power this week. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're deserving. Know that a level up, so to speak, is coming. So that's really cool. We always love leveling up. We always love I think it's going to be maybe spiritual tests, so to speak, and you're going to be leveling up as you kind of test your limits and test what you're made of, and you got this. So go on and get it. And if you want a personal reading, hit me up in the DMs, and I want you to just have a magical week. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're deserving. Know that you are way more capable than you're giving yourself credit for. You are going out and to do something big this week. Go do something big because you're leveling up, and you're obviously, I feel like this card came to kind of say that this card interestingly came after this card to kind of say, like, you're being put out into the world, but you are a master in this field, so you got it. Don't even doubt yourself. Don't worry about yourself. You got this, so go on and do it. But either way, be blessed. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're deserving for like the third or fourth time. And I'll holla. Peace.